What's up, guys? It's your boy Vic, and today I'm bringing you this DDD deck profile. First of all, I used to roll with DDDs since when they first came out. Before Lamia even came out, I was rolling with DDDs. Then Lamia came out and then just made the DDDs so much better. A lot of people think that DDDs are dead. In my opinion, there's no such thing as a dead deck unless talking back way back in Yu-Gi-Oh's like Shadow Duel days. Okay, even then, a lot of people are still bringing decks back. So today I'd like to show you my spice on DDDs. Let's get into this. Alright guys, to start it all off, I play 3 Lamia. She's a beast in this deck. In my opinion, she's savage. If this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can send one DD or Dark Contra card from your hand or face it from your field to the graveyard. Special summon Lamia, but banish it. Yeah, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use your effect once per turn. I usually, if I have her in hand, normal summon first, and then after she's sent to grave, use her effect to special summon her back, which usually I send a Dark Contract. That way the Dark Contract doesn't, burn. You don't burn yourself with the Dark Contract, because if you don't pay attention to that, that can be very risky. But she's the bae of the deck. Don't get it twisted. Also, guys, I don't own any rights to the music in the background. That's actually me playing YouTube on my TV. Next up, Swirl Slime. He's basically polymerization in himself. You basically, as long as he's in hand and you have a DD in hand or DDD, you could use them to fuse right from your hand. Because if this card's in your hand, you can fusion summon one DDD fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand as fusion materials, including this card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one DD monster from your hand. You can only use each effect of DD Swirl Slime once per turn. Savage, he's in a polymerization by himself. Then the next poly card, DD Necro Slime, he's the savage. If he's in grave, you basically Foolish Burial him straight to grave, or even if you fuse, which I like doing, Swirl Slime and Necro Slime to make a DDD monster to fusion some of them, and then you could actually use Necro Slime effect, which basically discards in your graveyard. You can fusion summon one DDD fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your graveyard, including this card. So he does it straight from grave. Savage card, love it. Then right here we have basically the Stratos for the Dark Contracts. Here's the Searcher. You normal summon him. You could add a Dark Contract from deck to hand. Also target one other card. You could if you want to target one other DD card you control, return it to the hand. So he returns them also back to hand if you want to, which I never use that part of the effect. He has a pendulum effect, but I don't use the pendulum effect because it's not that important. I mean, it is important, which is why I don't use him as a scale. Because his scale is you pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn during your standby phase, reduce this card's number pendulum scale by 2, minimum 1. Then destroy all monsters you control with a level greater than or equal to this card's pendulum scale. So that kind of sucks because he can be a dark hole at the same time, which really sucks. So I don't use that part of the effect at all. Next up, Savant Copernicus. He is Foolish Burial. If he's normal summoned or special summoned, you can send one DD or Dark Contra card from your deck to the graveyard. Except DD Savant Copernicus, you can only use the effect of that once per turn. But I like also his scale effect, which is the reason why I run him. Also, because he's scale 1. But also, you cannot pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters, which, just so you know, all DD monsters say that effect. This effect cannot be negated. Once while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate an activated spell card that would inflict damage to you, then destroy this card. So if he's in scale during your next standby phase, and because all the Dark Contra cards, they all say once per turn during your standby phase, take 1,000 damage. If it goes to burn you, could use Savant Copernicus to save your life instead and just pop him to destroy it. So that's pretty good. I love that also. I'm only playing one DD Savant Newton. He has the same effect as Savant Copernicus, his pendulum effect, but his is for the traps, which only run one Dark Contract trap. But I love also his effect itself. You can discard this card and target one DD or Dark Contract card in your graveyard, except DD Savant Newton. Add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of DD Savant Newton once per turn. So basically, he's your recycler. He adds back card from graveyard back to hand, which is pretty dope. Because the only thing I'm running in this deck is all straight DDs or Dark Contracts or DDDs. So, and then I'm also playing one DD Savant, one DD Ghost. He's interesting. He's a tuner. He's a level 2 tuner, which is dope. But also for the fact that if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can target one DD or Dark Monster card in your graveyard, and accept DD's Ghost, send one card from your deck to the graveyard with that name. So like that goes back in the hand. Like if you were smart enough to use DD Ghost, if he's sent to grave, what you would want to do is if you already use your Spore Slime, which most likely your Necro Slime or your Spore Slime, you could target one of them in your grave and then pitch them. You could go up for the fusion again with him, or use a pitch Swirl Slime and use Swirl Slime's effect to special summon that, banish him to special summon a DD monster from your hand. So that's pretty dope. Plus he's a level 2 tuner, you know. You can never go wrong with that. 3 DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. He's dope. I love him. He's one of my favorite ones. I was facing my brother just the other day, and he was running a FA deck, and he went into FA Motorhome Transport first turn, and within second turn I had Flame King Genghis. I also had Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok in defense mode, and then I had Gust King Alexander, and I had one other card. I can't remember. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok defense mode. Then it was Flame King Genghis. Then Gust King Alexander, and I already had a Dragon King Beowulf, I believe his name is. Let's just double check. Yep, Dragon Bane King Beowulf, and my extra monster zone, and I normal summoned. Matter of fact, what was it that I normal summoned? I think I ended up normal summoning Necro Slime, and it's normal summon Necro Slime, but I used his effect to you contribute once per turn. You contribute one other DD monster, then target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. So I banished his FA Motorhome Transport because FA Motorhome Transport is a little difficult. If he has like over 11, if his level becomes over 11, he can't be destroyed by card effects or destroyed by battle. So I went around it by banishing it, which was pretty dope. That deck was pretty annoying. First turn, my brother is able to actually make FA Motorhome Transport real quick. Pretty much, I have a couple outs to it in this deck, which I designed this deck to basically combat against decks that are pretty difficult in today's meta. So test this deck out yourself, guys, if you don't believe me. Then I play 2 DD Orthros. DD Orthros is good for when you put them in scale. You use this effect, target one spell trap card on the field, and one other DD or Dark Contract card you control, destroy them. So you want to target your opponent's spell or trap card, which this deck's weakness is anti-spell fragrance. So you'd want to target one of your Dark Contracts and anti-spell fragrance. Boom, destroy it. You're good for go. So that's pretty dope. I played 2 DD Savant Thomas. I love Savant Thomas. His scale effect's pretty good. During your main phase, you can add one face of DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. You can use the effect DD Savant Thomas once per turn. Also, his normal effect is actually really cool. You can target one DD card in your Pendulum Zone, destroy that card, and if you do, Special summon one level 8 DDD monster from your deck in defense position for the rest of this turn. Its effects, if any, are negated, and any battle damage your opponent takes becomes halved. So that's a good effect and a bad effect. Basically, what you would do if you actually get Savant Thomas on field, you want to special summon from defense position, and then from there you want to use this effect and end up special summoning. Where's he at? DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok, and you could go into a rank 8 from there, or whatever you choose to do from there. And then last but not least, for the spice of the deck, one DDD Chaos King Apocalypse. I love his actual effect, pendulum effect. You could banish 2 DDD monsters from your graveyard, special summon this card from your pendulum zone. And also his normal effect. During your opponent's turn, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 2 face-up spell or trap cards you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except fiend type monsters. Also destroy the targeted cards, and if you do special summon this card, it's a quick effect. So you could basically special summon DDD Chaos King Apocalypse during your opponent's turn, which is actually pretty good, and he's a 2700 beater, so that's pretty dope. That sums up the monster lineup. That was 25 monsters, guys. This is 10 spells. For the spell lineup, 3 Dark Contract with the Gate. This is basically your searcher for all your DD monsters. During your main phase, add 1 DD monster from your deck to your hand. I always, in my opinion, if I activate Dark Contract with the Gate, I either search for a Kepler or I'll end up searching for Lamia. Those are 2 cards that I end up usually searching if I don't have them in hand, one or the other. That's just my opinion, guys. Next up, 2 Dark Contract with the Swamp King. Since I already have 3 Swirl Slimes and 3 Necro Slimes, I'll only run 2 Dark Contract with the Swamp King, and this is just in case I don't have them in hand. I can still fuse off with them, because this basically, when it's on field, this is your poly for your DDs, which then you can only summon a DD fusion monster this way. But if you want to, and if you don't have them in hand, you can actually banish DD monsters from your graveyard for the fusion materials for that monster. And of course, all the Dark Contract spells and traps, they all say you take 1000 damage. I only have 2 Allure of Darknesses, so I'm only running 2. In my opinion, if I could, I would play a 3rd. But right now, this is what I'm playing with, guys. Alright. So, moving on. 1 for 1. Monster Reborn and Reasoning. Reasoning because you're using all types of different levels from 8 to 1. Your deck is full of them. I pretty much have like every single level in this deck almost. So calling one of the numbers, you have to be pretty lucky to call it the number just for me not to get that. That's the spell lineup. That's 10 spells, guys. 25 monsters, 10 spells, which means I have 5 traps. 1 Dark Contract with the Witch. 2 Storming Mirror Forces. Why? Because Storming Mirror Force is still good. If your opponent declares an attack, return all your opponent's attack position monsters to the hand. And that also means links. Because Quaking Mirror Force don't work on links, because you can't switch a link monster to defense mode. So, Storming Mirror Force. 1 Divine Wrath. I still think it's pretty good. So I'm running Divine Wrath. It doesn't hurt. 1 Solemn Warning. Because Solemn Warning doesn't hurt. That is my trap lineup. That was 5 traps. Now moving on to my extra deck, guys. My extra deck is of my own opinion. I'm still working on the extra deck, guys. I'm still trying to make this deck as competitively as possible, because I want to show you guys that I can bring a deck back from being rogue to combat against meta. So start it all off. Proxy Dragon, Saruja, my 2 links. If I don't have the cards in hand, I have actually made Saruja on board a couple times against my brother. It is possible with the DDDs. You just got to know how to go with the strategy, guys. And also the awesome effect of special summoning from hand. It doesn't hurt. plus the draw 4, and then -3. Fix your hand. Dope. Now for the fusion lineup. 2 DD Flame King Genghis, Savage. If a DD monster special summon while he's on field, during damage step, once per turn, you could target 1 DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and is on its possession, or is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target 1 Dark Contract card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So, I love Flame King Genghis. I just love him. He's one of my favorite DDDs. DDD Oral King Dark, or whatever you want to call it. She's awesome. Yes, it is a she. I don't know why they said Oracle King when it's a female. You can obviously see it kind of looks like a female. I don't know. Konami's weird like that. But any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that much life points instead. So if you have a bunch of dark contracts on field and dark, you're just going to plus. You're just gaining life points instead of losing life points. It reverses the effects. So that's pretty savage. DDD Dragon Bane King Beowulf. Another savage monster. 1 DDD monster and 1 DDD monster. If double D monster you control attacks its defensive position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So any DDD monsters on field that attack my opponent's monsters, they all become piercers. Savage. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can destroy all cards in the spell and trap card zones. So that's a savage effect also. That means scales also, guys. Like it's a heavy storm on legs. He's a heavy storm on legs. And I love the fact that he's actually a werewolf. Savage. Sand Upon the Sky Prison. Gains 100 attack and defense for each monster in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card until the end of your opponent's next turn. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyards. So, that's savage. Number 38, Harbinger Dragon, Titanic Galaxy. For those who don't know his effect, look it up. I'm not reading it. That's too long of an effect. If you want, you could pause it to actually read that effect. I mean, if you can actually see that well. I'm not 100% certain if you can, but he's a savage card. He negates spell cards or effects that are activated on the field once per turn. Savage. And if you do attach that card to this card as XYZ material, savage. It's nasty. My opinion. I'm playing DDD Super Doom King Dark Armageddon. He's also a good card. His scale effect is awesome. Once per turn, if you have a DD card in your other pendulum zone, you can special summon 1 DD XYZ monster from your extra deck, except Super Doom King Armageddon. And also, he can't be pendulum summoned, but you know that's okay. He's a 3500 beater, and his effect is awesome. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card and target 1 monster your opponent controls, equal to the number of pendulum monsters you control. Destroy them. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. Savage. Supreme King Dragon Clearwing. You play dark pendulum monsters in this deck, and you have tuners. So, I mean, why not, right? He's a Raigeki on legs. DDD Gust King Alexander. Love him. If another DD monster uses normal special summon to your field while you control the face-up card, except during the damage step, you can target 1 level 4 lower DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of DDD Gust King Alexander once per turn. Savage. Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. Why? When this card is special summon, you can target 1 card in your pendulum zone, special summon. Also, this card cannot attack the rest of the turn. You can also use the effect of Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon once per turn. Monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the once per turn. Monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the battle phase. Bleh. Sorry, I had to read that again. Wanted to make sure you guys could hear me. DDD Cursed King Siegfried. During either player's turn, you can target 1 face-up spell, a trap card on the field that the target has its effects negated until the next standby phase. You can only use this effect of DDD Cursed King Siegfried once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle card effect and sent to the graveyard, gain 1,000 life points for each dark contract card you control. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Y'all already know what it is. Destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible. Attack less than or equal to this card's other than this card, then inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. That's a once per turn effect. Savage. And last but not least, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Savage. Just savage. Y'all already know what it is. Well, guys, that sums up this deck profile. I'm working my hardest to try to make this as competitive as possible. I'm trying to bring a deck back that everybody thought was dead. Anything is possible in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list is constantly changing, guys. There's no such thing as impossible in the card game of Yu-Gi-Oh! True Dracos are still winning regionals. Pen Magicians are still winning regionals. World Chalice is winning regionals. Let me tell you something. Anything is possible in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! As long as you believe in the heart of the cards. Whether you believe that or not, that's your opinion. In this game, anything is possible. Also, you don't believe me? Check out my homies from Team Kings of Games. My boy 3 Stacks and the whole team, they're constantly coming up with very innovative and very creative deck profiles that everybody thought was dead. And you know what? They bringing it back. Don't sleep on them. Check them out. Remember what it is. Team Kings of Games. Check them out. Show them some love. They're my homies. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on me. This is Lost Legend 0150, man. And you know what, guys? I'll be back. And you know what, guys? I'm heading out. Till next time, peace.